Last week, we covered a lot of ground like 7 days, seven conversation, seven shifts in how you think about money. We talked about income versus wealth, emotional spending, lifestyle inflation, the three paths every dollar takes, and why even smart, educated people still struggle financially. If you were here for all 7 days, your perspective on money has already changed more than most people experience in years. Tonight, we start week two, and this week is different. Week one is about awareness, seeing things clearly. Week two is about building, turning that awareness into action. And I want to start with something fundamental, a skill that separates people who build wealth from people who just earn money, a skill that nobody teaches, not in school, not at work, not at home. Let me ask you a simple question. If I give you two options right now, $100 today or $150 1 year from now, which would you choose? Be honest. Most people choose the $100 today, not because they can't do the math, but because the brain wants certainty. The brain wants now. And that simple choice, that pull toward today over tomorrow, that explains more about financial outcomes than income, education, or opportunity ever will. The ability to delay gratification is one of the most powerful financial skills a person can develop. Discipline builds generational strength, and delayed gratification is where discipline begins. Delayed gratification simply means choosing long term benefit over short term pleasure. That's it. Not denying yourself everything, not living in misery, just choosing, will I prioritize what feels good right now or what serves my family's future? For example, saving a portion of your bonus instead of spending all of it, keeping the car that works instead of financing the one that impresses, putting money into growth instead of upgrading your lifestyle the moment income rises, planning your spending in advance instead of reacting to every impulse. It sounds simple, and logically it is simple, but emotionally it can be one of the hardest thing you will ever do, because delayed gratification asks you to trust the future, to believe that the reward you can't see it is worth more than the one sitting right in front of you. And that takes something deeper than knowledge, that takes conviction. Now, let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest in the chat. Have you ever delayed a purchase and later felt grateful you did? Maybe you wanted something badly. You almost bought it, but you waited. And a week later, a month later, you realized you didn't even want it anymore. Type S in the chat if that's ever happened to you. That moment, that relief of not spending, that's delayed gratification working. And every time you experience it, the muscle gets stronger. Every time you say not now, the next time becomes easier. This is the skill that wealthy families pass down, not stock tips, not business secrets, the ability to wait, the ability to say, this can feel good later, and it will feel even better because I waited. So, if delayed gratification is this powerful, why don't more people practice it? Because our brains are wired against it, literally wired against it. This isn't a character flaw, this is biology. The human brain evolved for survival. For thousands of years, our ancestors lived in environments where tomorrow was uncertain. Food might not be there tomorrow. Safety might not exist tomorrow. So the brain learned, take what's available now, don't wait. Now is guaranteed, later is not. That wiring served us when we were hunting and gathering. But in a modern financial world, that same wiring destroys wealth. A new phone comes out, your current phone works perfectly fine, but the new one is sleeker, faster, everyone's talking about it, and your brain says, you deserve this. Get it now. Why wait? A coworker drives a new car to the office. Your car is paid off, reliable, gets you everywhere you need to go. But suddenly, it feels old. And your brain says, upgrade. You've earned it. Do it now. You get a bonus at work. You could allocate it, protect your family, fund your growth path. But there's a trip you've been wanting to take, a purchase you've been eyeing, and your brain says, you worked hard for this, enjoy it now, you will save next time. Every single one of these moments is your ancient brain fighting your future self. Instant satisfaction versus long term strength. And without awareness, instant wins every time. That's why this skill matters so much, because the default is to spend now. The default is to choose comfort now. The default is to prioritize this moment over every moment that comes after. Delayed gratification is the conscious override of that default. And it is a skill, not a personality trait, a skill, which means it can be learned, which means it can be practiced, which means anyone watching this right now can develop it. Now, here is where delayed gratification goes from powerful to life changing, because delayed gratification has a partner. That partner's name is compounding. When you choose not to spend $1 today, that dollar doesn't just sit there. If it's positioned correctly, it starts working, it starts growing, and over time, it starts growing on top of its own growth. That's compounding. Money generating more money, and that new money generating even more money. A snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger with every rotation. Let me make this real. Imagine you're 30 years old. You decided to skip one $200 impulse purchase every single month. Not a huge sacrifice. Just one thing you would have bought but choose to delay. Instead of spending that $200, you allocate it. You put it somewhere it can grow over time. $200 a month, every month for 25 years. The raw amount you set aside is $60,000. That's significant on its own. But with compounding, with time doing its work, the number grows well beyond what you contributed. Potentially two, three, even four times what you put in, depending on how it's positioned and how long it's left alone, that number grows. And it all started with one decision: not now. Not a dramatic sacrifice, just not now. Repeated monthly for years. That's the partnership. Delayed gratification provides the fuel, compounding provides the engine. Together, they build wealth that feels almost impossible from where you are standing today. But here is the thing about compounding: it's slow at the start, painfully slow. The first year, the growth is barely noticeable. The second year, it's slightly better. The fifth year, you start to see something. And then, somewhere around year 10, 15, 20, it explodes. Most people quit before the explosion. They start saving, they delay gratifications for a few months. The results feel small, the sacrifice feels big, and they think this isn't working. So they go back to spending, back to instant, back to now. But the people who stay, the people who keep delaying, keep allocating, keep trusting the process, they reach a point where the money is generating more growth in a single year than they used to earn in a decade of working. That's compounding. And it only rewards those who are patient enough to wait. Small discipline choices today create large opportunities tomorrow. Not might create, do create. Mathematics don't lie. Time doesn't negotiate. You either give compounding the years it needs or you don't. And that decision to wait or not to wait is delayed gratification in its purest form. Now, I want to address something important because I know what some of you might be feeling. You might be thinking, so I'm supposed to never enjoy my money, never treat myself, just save everything forever. No, financial discipline does not mean never enjoying life. That's not discipline, that's punishment. And punishment doesn't sustain. Discipline simply means creating balance. Enjoy today while also protecting tomorrow. Spend on things that matter to you after this structure is funded. Celebrate your wins within a system that ensure those wins keep building. Think about it like fitness. A disciplined athlete doesn't never eat dessert. They eat well most of the time so that when they enjoy something indulgent, it doesn't derail their progress. It's the same with money. A financial disciplined person doesn't never spend on wants. They structure it. Then they enjoy what remains without guilt, without anxiety. The guilt comes when spending has no structure, when you know you shouldn't have bought something but you did anyway, when the pleasure fades and the regret settles in. But when spending is intentional, when it comes after protection, after reserves, after growth, there's no guilt because you know the foundation is secure, and the enjoyment becomes deeper because it's earned within a system, not stolen from your future. When people master this balance, when they learn to delay some gratification while still enjoying life, their entire financial trajectories changes. Not because they deprive themselves, because they sequence correctly. Structure first, enjoyment second, and both get better over time. So, here is something I want you to sit with tonight. One question, simple but revealing. Where in your life could you delay gratification just a little more? Not everywhere, not on everything, just a little more. One area. Maybe it's the daily purchase you make out of habit, not need. Maybe it's the upgrade you are planning that could wait 6 more months. Maybe it's the maybe sorry, maybe it's the money that's currently going to comfort that could go to compounding. You don't have to change everything tonight. One small shift, one decision to say not now, where you usually say why not. A simple shift today can create a very different future. Not because the amount is large, because the pattern is new. And new patterns, repeated consistently, become the foundation of a completely different life. That's how wealth is built, not in one dramatic moment, in 1,000 quiet ones. This is day 8, the start of week 2. And if week 1 opened your eyes, week 2 is going to give you the tools to build. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about something practical, how to design a simple money allocation system, not a budget, an allocation, a structure that works with your psychology instead of against it. If conversations like this help you think differently about money, if you feel something shifting in how you see your finances, join me again. Type 30 days in the comments if you are building with me. To go live every day here at 908 CST. Money is not only about earning, it's about behavior, discipline, and long term thinking. We don't chase money here, we build structure. Discipline builds generational strength. See you tomorrow.